And we're live. Sorry in advance if anybody hears my baby screaming. It's not common, but she sometimes isn't always the happiest. So, all right. So I have David on this Zoom call today, and we're going to be talking about where he started from and how he's been getting clients for his business and what's been working for him and what's not been working for him and what he's doing just in a whole, like that maybe you can take away from this and do something today with your business and move forward with maybe some challenges you're having. So without further ado, David, why don't you talk about a little bit about what brought you here and maybe how we met and got started with working with each other and why you're doing what it is what you're doing.
Okay. My name is Dave. I am the owner of Diverse Designs, a graphic design agency here in Melbourne, Florida. I'm a single father of a 10-year-old. I've been working with Billy for about 2 years now. I think we've been working together.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Um, I mean, what kind of question, like what do you exactly want me to go into detail here? Just cut this stuff out of the recording, by the way.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure if I'll be able to just because I don't do any editing, post editing, or anything like that. But for the most part, though, it's like just any advice that you have when you were starting your company is useful information for everybody who's starting any company for themselves. Specifically, since you're in graphics design, you can always talk about challenges that you've had being a logo designer because it's not easy getting work when you first start. I mean, you got to build trust in the clientele, and you can really talk about just the lessons that you've learned, like just things that people can take away is something that I really want to focus on because it's not every day that people share their experiences where
Mm,
people can actually feel like people care. It's like for the most part everybody's trying to make money and get something for their information and their time, where I'm just trying to create a place, a community that talks about the challenges of their everyday struggles, like when it comes to running a business, and just maybe even not running a business, just can, like, if you even have a struggle, like if you struggled with some kind of challenge in life that wasn't business related, that's always okay to talk about too. We can't say we heal people and stuff like that, because we're not doctors, but it's like if you have an experience that is worth sharing, that like you overcame something that most people are dealing with and that maybe they need to just hear a story that helps them, that's always something that's okay too. It doesn't always have to be business related, like these things are about how like leaders are born and like how ideas are born and how businesses are started, and also getting advice from people who are already doing it. Like there are options for CEOs to come on the show and talk about their experiences and how they are doing with what they're doing now, and so it's like that's a completely different tier of advice and information. There's no reason why we still can't be giving each other good advice of like, hey, don't do that, or don't forget to do that. Like you've been helping me with like the ideas for how to post on YouTube. You've been helping me with like how to talk to people in general, like get the questionnaire out, and just get more like deeper dives into people's needs. Like that's a lot of bouncing back and forth with you, and we can talk about challenges like that we've overcome together. um Things that you, like I said, the things that you saw that right away that stood out. Any advice that you have on things like that is crucial information, and there's really no order of how you need to present things. So really, if you want to just feel free to like talk about like how long you've been doing this, and really like if you have any like certain particular challenges that you're trying to overcome, whatever solutions that you're trying to port execute, you know, it's like let's try to work on those together as part of the series, you know. It's like we can kind of do like a 6-month program thing where it's like everybody can check in on us in the next 6 months, and then we can be like, yeah, this is the progress we've made since then, and in the process we'll continue to make videos of just giving people advice of
I just
more
interviewed
things.
you.
What was that?
I just interviewed you, and you didn't even know it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's my interview, but it's
Well, no, I get a better idea now of what you're of what you're talking about. I mean, some advice
yeah,
that I can give is, you know, and I'm going to give both good and bad advice.
please do. Yeah, the
You
negative
know, things
advice is
that people
good.
can learn from. You know, if anybody takes anything from this interview, is the fact that this is a very tough industry to be in. Um, whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're whatever. Sorry about that, everyone. Give me 1 minute.
Yeah, I gotta meet them too. That's ridiculous.
You know who it is. For everybody out there watching this too, I'm not talking bad about nobody. That was a joke.
Luna doesn't
Uh,
think so.
so I mean, any advice I can give is yes, this is a tough industry to get into. Graphic design is it's something that's been, I don't know, part of my life for as long as I could ever remember. I mean, I've always had an art background. Um, growing up, I like to draw. I painted a lot. I had stuff in art shows growing up when I was, you know, younger. Um, you know, I am a logo designer now. This is a passion of mine that I've wanted to pursue for, I don't know, forever. How Diverse Designs became a company. I started in 2017 is when I actually, well, October of 2017 is when I did my first logo. I think September is when I started it, but I just kind of, I was jumping backwards like a year or two. I battled addiction really bad. Um, that I battled it for some years, and I finally got through it and everything. I actually, before this whole adventure even started, I actually left the state that I was living in and made myself homeless for 2 months, on purpose, mind you. And a lot of people don't know that. Um, I did it for a few reasons. One, my head wasn't clear. I needed to kind of just get away. So I drove 7 hours south from Delaware to North Carolina, and I literally kept myself homeless for 2 months. Um, it just there was a lot of personal demons I was dealing with, but I was down there for I was battling that for 2 months, and I came back to Delaware, and I took a couple of jobs actually in the landscaping company, and I hated it. Um, but I always wanted to start my own business. Even as a kid, I cut grass, had my own business cutting grass. I had, you know, little side business, detail businesses and stuff I did as I got a little bit older. You know, just to make some money. I always wanted to be a business owner, and I always had a talent for drawing, for art, for designing stuff, and um, you know, as just all through school, as I got a little bit older, and then the a little side note to this is when I used to I I passed art class in every grade until I got to my freshman year in high school, and I actually failed it. Um, because I it wasn't what art like it wasn't what I liked, even though it was art class. It wasn't what I liked, and it just kind of deterred me from stuff. So it actually killed my desire for designing anything for a while, like for years. I basically just stopped drawing, I stopped painting, stopped doing anything.
What was it about the high school class that?
I don't think I like the well, because for one, like my art teacher was just like she was an ass. Me and her never really got along,
Hmm.
but like anything that I would do, drawing related, whatever, it was always she would always like put it down, and like the whole demeanor of her, like I didn't like the assignments that she would give. I didn't want to
Right,
listen
bad
to what she
environment
said.
for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, and I failed art class, and my mom asked me, she's like, when she's seen it on my report card, she looks at me, she goes, "Are you sick?" She goes, "You've never," she goes, "out of any class out there in school," she's like, "that was the one class, or art class was the one class I knew you would pass, if nothing
Right.
else."
But not in high school though. So
Yeah.
like, what was the most different thing? It was just the teacher and not like, and what, she just had it out for you or what?
Well, I mean, no, she didn't have it out for me. It was just like, I guess what I looked at art as being, and what they were trying to teach us art was just a deterrent to me, because
Hmm.
like I don't know. I mean, like I enjoy drawing. I enjoy painting. To me, that's art. Okay, designing something, being creative, creating something from nothing. Taking an idea in your mind and putting it on paper, adding color. Creating an image. Bill, you've seen some of the logos that I've created from a sketch. Um, so to have a teacher at a young age, at like 16, 17, I can't remember how old I was. No, I was actually younger than that. I was a freshman. I think I was like 14 or 15.
Hmm.
Um, to have a teacher basically tell me that what you're doing is not considered art, and then her sitting there giving me these damn assignments where I had to create an image out of tearing little pieces of paper and gluing them on an image, and it's just like that. Excuse my mouth, but it fucking drove me nuts. Um,
Right.
obviously me, I'm always the one that wants to go above and beyond everything. So I picked the hardest freaking picture that you could possibly pick. It was like it was so detailed and so colorful, and I kicked myself in the ass because I don't think I ever finished it. But because it just I couldn't sit down long enough to do it. Um, because it wasn't interesting to me. Like, I mean, that's not what I looked at design and everything as. I like to do stuff that's creative, that's colorful, that stands out, that people when they see it, they're going to be like, "Oh, that's cool." It's something that they're going to like, or if it's a logo, something that's going to be good 10 years from now. Um, what the hell they were having me doing in art class was not considered what I thought was art. But anyways,
Well, maybe they
but
did that on purpose so you go get a real job.
yeah, look how that turned out.
Yeah. But no, thank you for
Anyways,
sharing.
so skipping it forward, about coming back from being from North Carolina, is where actually I stayed for 2 months. Coming
Hmm.
back from there, getting a job at a landscaping company, and then taking a job shortly after at another one. I actually made a decision one day, and I was just like, you know what, I'm over this shit. Working these stupid ass jobs, and I was like, I've got a talent of mine. I'm basically putting to waste. Um, so I made a decision. I was like, I'm starting my own company. And that's how that. Well, when it first started in 2017, it was actually named Jones Marketing Designs. Um, and then it in 2018, it changed its name again to Jones Marketing and Designs, and then it stayed for that for 2 years, and then I just got tired of the name, and then I turned it into what it is today, is Diverse Design.
Why did you get tired of it? Because I hear having your name in it is supposed to be a good thing.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having. I mean, some people think it's not wise to have your name inside the name of your company, mainly because
Interesting.
if you sell it ever, then your name's on it. But at the same
Hmm.
time, me like I had somebody confront me about that one time. And they're like, well, why do you put your name in your business if what happens if you sell it one day? Well, quite honestly, when you first get into business, that's the last damn thing on your mind is to sell your company. It's your company. Your
Yeah,
company is
for
like a
some people,
child.
for sure.
They're not. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people are into building businesses just so they can turn around and sell them. But
Yeah, yeah. Some people treat it like your
I'm
adopted
not.
child or something.
Like I started this company, and that was the very last thing on my mind ever was to sell it. Even if it was making millions and millions of dollars, I still wouldn't sell it because it's something that I've built from the ground up, and I'm not going to sit there and watch somebody else destroy what I've built for so many years.
Plus, it's
So
smarter just to be a part of it long term. Like even if you do
yeah.
sell it, just I'd buy more shares than the current stakeholders or
Sell
whatever.
like 75% of it. Somebody else can take primary ownership, but you still have a hold on. You still have a hand in the cookie jar, I guess you would call it.
Oh, I would assume you'd want primary ownership and let them run it.
Well, that too, but that's the last thing on my mind still to this day.
Oh, for
It's
sure, for sure.
it's
No, no. I mean,
stressful.
it's not about the money anyway. It's about
No,
just the
it's
opportunity to do what
stressful.
you love.
As stressful as this job can be sometimes, and this industry can be sometimes, it's actually rather rewarding too to take an
Yeah,
idea to take an idea and turn it into an a piece of or a logo or a t-shirt design. Um, to take an idea that somebody has or you create and turn it into a logo, t-shirt design, package design, whatever. I mean, that's something that I enjoy that because especially if that is being used for a t-shirt design that's going to be worn by a lot of people or going to be in a place that's going to be sold by a lot of people, or a logo design that's going to be on a major company that's going to have their name plastered all over the freaking country. I mean, something like that to me is what I mean, I enjoy that. To know that you created something for somebody and now they're showing it off to everyone. I mean, that's kind of why I got into this industry. It wasn't so much about the money; it was about having the ability to be able to create something that people will actually be able to see or use or whatever the case may be. Um, that's the main reason why I got into it because I mean, you know, like you said, if you and I'll say the same thing. If you're getting into business just for the money, you're going to fail miserably.
I
You
agree.
got to have
So,
you
yeah,
got to have a purpose. You kind of got to have a purpose behind on what you're doing. Like, do you want to help people? Do you want to, whatever it is that you want to do? That's got to be your bigger. That's got to be the bigger picture that you look at than the money. And then why are you doing it to begin with? Um,
yeah,
family, yourself. You just want to be your own boss for whatever reason. But the one thing I will say is if anybody that's watching this or watches this ever says the answer that you're in it for the money, you might as well just stop while you're at it. And I mean, because
I agree.
if your vision's only for that, you're going to miss the bigger picture anyways on why you even started doing it.
Yeah, and it's a long-term thing. Like, definitely don't get into it thinking
You're going to
like
make $1 million
oh, like no matter how.
overnight.
Yeah, yeah, like the first year, it's like if you have some money behind you, yeah, I think you could argue that you could do it. But if you're doing it like the way we're doing it, starting it from the ground up, bootstrapping the entire project, like on your own, and it's going to take some time. And if you don't know everything, which most people don't, then and you're doing it alone, you're going to realize it's a lot harder than you think. And the sooner that you team up with people and make a business plan and really think about all those things, then I really think that you can then move forward with advertising
I
and
mean,
marketing and
you
branding
know,
yourself because you've done all the research.
your first, excuse me, your first 7 years in business are your most difficult anyways. Anybody that gets into business. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen a lot of people coming up over the last couple of years that can make a decent amount of money online, depending on what you have. But you've also got to put the work in too. But like your
And how they're
first
selling
seven,
it.
and how you're selling it, how you're marketing it, how you're branding it, your design. Like is it appealing? Is it something that's going to attract people? I mean, because understanding one thing, or understand one thing is your logo is the first thing a person normally sees, and it's the last thing that they normally see. So I mean, you
Mm.
want it to be eye catching, you want it to be appealing and colorful. I'm not big on following trends. I really not, because they change every year, and by the time you figure out the trends for this year, the new ones are already getting ready to come into play. And I mean,
Yeah.
so I'm not a designer that follows trends. Some do, some don't. I mean, it doesn't make you any different. I've seen some designers that are awesome that don't follow trends, and I've seen some that do. It's it's more of the creative, I guess, the creative viewpoint, or from a designer. I guess it's on how um how when how they look at things. I guess when they create a design. Me, quite honestly, when I design a logo, I ask for ideas. Sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't. Um, and then I kind of, I as I'm taking notes when I'm talking to them, uh, I just write stuff down, and then I'll research it and kind of get an idea of you know what pops up. And then, like I told you before, I'll look at multiple logos across the board, and I'll see different pieces and this and that from different ones, and I might pull them apart. And I'm not going to copy somebody's design, but if I look at 20 logos across the board, and I see out of 20 of them, 5 of them have what I want. Each one has something that I like.
Yeah.
I'll pull the idea from there. I mean, I hand draw all my stuff before it becomes the actual logo, anyways. Um, I'll draw it out, and I might modify a few things here and there, but like that's my process when it comes to designing stuff. I mean, I, I create all my stuff from scratch. I create it from an idea. I don't design nothing digitally before a sketch is approved. Um, I know some designers do, some designers don't. Like
Yeah.
they'll get away. Like it's not with the iPad now has Procreate on it and everything. You can basically sketch out a full logo on there, and just as easy as you can with a piece of paper and a pencil. But I don't use it. I still do the old. I still do it old school, I guess you could call it, by doing paper and a pencil.
Let me ask you something. Did you always have a process when you first started, or was it something that you had to kind of work around and create throughout the years?
Um, I honestly have always actually had this process, design related, which that process is I draw out 3 logo ideas. I'll draw out 3 sketches. I send them off. They pick one. That's the one I basically build or make. Within that sketch that
Hmm.
they pick out, they make their changes. They make their edits. We'll do a second version of it. I'll send it off. Whatever changes they make after that, I put them. I do it now on the computer. I'll make the last set of changes because sometimes it's just easier to do it that way. Because if you mess something up, it's easier to remove it and add something new. But I mean, the process that I use now is the process that I've had since I've started this company. I've just kind of modified it over the years to try to perfect, or not perfect it, but improve here, and what doesn't work, remove it. But for the most part, the
Yeah.
process that I started with is still basically the process that I have today.
Yeah, you just enhance it throughout the years.
Yeah, I mean, it'll continue to get better, especially as new equipment comes out, new programs and stuff come out, to where, I mean, because I am actually going to be shifting over to the iPad and i iPen or iPencil, whatever it is, because it's just easier.
Hmm.
um, it does, like I said, it does the same thing that a pen and paper does, but if you mess something up on that, you can erase it compared to, and fix it. I mean, same thing you can do with pen and pencil and paper. It's just easier to do it all digital now. It's easier to work with things, to make changes, to make edits, and whatnot. You ain't got to erase a whole entire logo and redraw it out. You can, on that, you can just remove bits and pieces of it, and it's also upgrading my equipment as I go, um, to make things more efficient, to make things faster, cut down on labor time, and improve stuff. Because, I mean, I was watching something tonight actually before we did this interview about, there's a company in Germany that created, and I've seen some of the work this thing puts out, and I'm not a big fan of it, but created an AI program that can basically take the place of a logo designer. But
Hmm.
it's all, artificial intelligence and stuff. And as I was watching the video on it, and reading the comments on the YouTube video, I mean, a lot of designers made sense when they said, artificial intelligence, AI programs like that might be able to turn out a logo design in under a couple minutes, but it's not going to be able to it's not going to have the creativity as a person does. So
Okay.
it's questionable if this is actually going to take effect. Um, Apparently, this program is actually already being used to work with some big brands and companies right now, but it's like anything else. I think it's going to, personally, I think it'll flame out, because you can't, the program's got an algorithm that goes behind it, but
Hmm.
it doesn't have the
It's not like
create
how we talked about, like
it doesn't have the
customizing people's needs.
creativity of a human brain. Like
Hmm.
how we take, okay, so like, for instance, how we look at things and how we think and how we function and how things make us feel, and how colors make us feel, and it's different stuff like that. This program won't be able to do that, because for one, it's a program. It doesn't have emotions, it doesn't have feelings. So to be able it's not going to be able to think on a creative standpoint. It's just going to go by off of numbers and codes and everything, and it's just going to come up whatever the hell it feels like. But it's not necessarily going to be, something that's going to. It might not even last that long either. It might be a
Yeah.
design that might only be good for a year if it's following a trend. That trend might be gone the following year, so then you're going to have to redesign it all over again. So I mean, working with a human designer, you get that creativity from them. You get to see their viewpoint from the ideas that you have, and the different uh, characteristics and stuff that they bring to the table when it comes to designing stuff. So I mean, um, I forget what I was going to say. Sorry about that. I don't remember what I was saying. I've completely lost train of thought.
No, no, that's all right. I got the kiddos just making noise, so I apologize
Oh, you're
if they
good.
get a little too crazy tonight. He's having a lot of fun with his sister, so yeah, there's a lot to cover, it's not it's not going to always be like a smooth process whenever we're explaining things. So the best that we can do is just work with what's relevant at the time. So to like today, a lot of the challenges that you've been describing are a lot of the things that we've talked about before, which makes me oh man, they're having a blast. A lot of the things that we've been talking about are things that we've talked about before, and it makes me excited that we've actually come from like such a far place, since we started working together. Like how you even were charging versus how you charge now, just little nuances with how we talk to people, creating a questionnaire to give to people before we even work together to save everybody time, and it's just like these things I feel like are what everybody is dealing with, like we
Mm.
both like got to finish up the business plan side so that like there is a full man, they are crazy. like we got to finish up those business plan sides, because it's like it's so important that we understand every aspect of and every corner of these industries that we're getting into, even for ourselves, because I never thought of it like I needed one because I just have a service, you
Mm,
know. And then I started realizing, like, well, what if we wanted an investor? You know, like, what if we want to partner up with somebody? Like, we got to have a way of explaining what we do really well. And
mm.
that's what the business plan really did for me. And I feel like that's going to be good for everybody, because then you can actually plan out your marketing strategy and everything like that, because that's what you have to do anyway when you create it. So
Well,
it's
that's
like
the
it's
thing.
like you're going backwards
Like,
in a good way.
and I mean, we're only a 3-year-old company, so yeah, we're still constructing a lot of stuff. Um, yeah, like I said, the first 7 years are the toughest. I mean, one tip I can also tell people is that you if you want to build a successful business, um, you want to have a team behind you, because you can't do everything by yourself. You're gonna find this out. Like, and I'm guilty of it myself, and I know a lot of people that are trying to start a business or have a business, or had a business for that matter, are gonna, you got, most of them can say like it's hard to run everything by yourself. As a graphic, excuse me, as a graphic designer, it's hard to handle projects and hard to make the phone calls and handle all the clients and print the shirts and do this and everything else. And I mean, it's a very hard process to go. Um, so that's why you do need to kind of have people on board with you, somebody that can handle certain things. Like, uh, if you're building a design company, if you're building any company for that matter, the the suggestion, my advice is to find people that can work with you, um, that are good in certain things. Like, with my team, I have a person that's specifically for websites. I do the graphic design work. I have a person that's specifically for marketing. You work with me and you handle a lot of stuff on the branding side. So I mean, every person, like, there's multiple people to my team, and we're all good at something in particular. So when you come and work with us, you're going to get the best, you're going to get the most quality and the most value for what you're wanting done, because each person that works on a specified thing that you want completed, um, you're going to get their full experience, or their expertise on something. So say if you come to me and you want graphic design work done, then I'm going to be the one that works on it. Or if I got somebody that wants a website, well, our website developer is going to be on it. If they want branding, you're going to work on it. They want marketing, we've got somebody else to handle that. SEO, same thing. So each one of the people on my team, they specialize in what they do. So when you get work from them, you're getting 100% that from the person that specializes in that area. You're not worrying about getting somebody who doesn't have any experience in it working on it, like a lot of these companies do today. They'll just hire anybody, whether they got experience or not. So you don't get the full 100% expertise for that particular thing. Um, another bit of advice that I can give is don't be scared to learn. Whatever industry that you're getting into, learn about it. Learn about the your competitors, what they do, what they provide. And it don't matter what industry you're in. You don't have to just be in design. If you're in e-commerce, learn about the products that sell the best. If you're in um, I mean, if you're in marketing, learn about your competition, learn what they do, learn everything you can about marketing, because it's a it's a industry that changes every damn month. Like, I mean, there's always something new and improving with marketing. Same thing with branding. It's always, improving. It's always changing. It's always evolving. Different types of things on how you brand. Different software, different this, different that. Um, it's just learn. Your knowledge. The more you learn, the better off you're going to be for the future.
Right.
I mean, obviously, yes, it's more it's going to make you in the long run, but in order for you to be, at the top of your game, you're going to have to learn everything. You're going to have to outdo the person next to you. There's all kinds of different platforms to learn about design, to learn about e-commerce, to learn about forex, to learn about um, marketing, to learn about branding, how to be a good leader, how to,
Yeah.
you know, one of the programs that I use, or one of the platforms I use, is Skillshare. You can learn anything about anything on there, how to be a good leader, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be an entrepreneur, or even if that, I don't know if they teach that part, but like it gives you um, different courses on different things when it comes to stuff like that. But I mean, um, it's that's kind of that's kind of all I have for that part.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot to go over. I mean, we're not going to be able to give everybody all the advice we have or want to cover. I believe the hardest part is going to just be what kind of direction do we want to go with these videos. It's like they don't all have to be advice. We can turn it into a series where we talk about how you're creating your company or growing it, or where whatever goal you want to kind of embody. Sorry again for all that crazy noise. um Whatever you want to embody, that should be our show. That should be something that, like, we show everybody how we're doing it, and then that's the audience that we're going to create it for, is the people who are looking for the things that we're doing. So whatever it is that you want to do, let's do it. If it's like you want to teach people how to create their own design company, we can do that. If it's just like, oh, I want to just come on here and give you free advice, we can do that too.
Well, I mean, what we could do is like how we were talking. Like um, you can uh, do design tutorials. I could do a tutorial on how to design T-shirts. I can do one on how to make T-shirts, how to do stickers. Because like the when it comes to marketing and advertising and stuff like that, the T-shirts, stickers, stuff like that. That's definitely a big thing that people like to use. So I mean, and I do all that. The shirt that I'm wearing right now, I made. It's got my company name on it. I made that myself. So I mean, everybody is always wanting something they can advertise. We do cups, and we do coffee cups and tumblers and everything also, and and we do signs and stuff for vehicles also. But I mean, like, that's all stuff that can be taught to people. You know, sometimes, I mean, sometimes it's fun to do your own marketing, or excuse me. Sometimes it's fun to create your own stuff for your business. Like if you can create shirts for yourself, that has um it has like a rewarding feeling to it, because it feels like you're putting back into your business. Okay. You don't like One thing I can say is, like, okay, everybody's always talking about invest back in your business. Well, investing back in your business doesn't always have to mean money. Um, Getting ways to market and advertise, for your business, that's investing back into it. If you can make shirts or make cups, stuff that you can sell to people or give to people, pens, um, stickers, stuff like that that you can hand out to people or sell for a couple bucks here and there. That's free advertisement for people, okay? Because people are buying your stickers or wearing your shirts, and they're putting them on your car, or they're going out in public wearing your shirt. That's free advertisement for people, okay? Because you've got somebody that's basically a walking billboard or a rolling billboard for you. You ain't paying them nothing, but they bought they basically bought I guess how you could look at it is if they bought a sticker from you, so they're sticking, your name on their car, so, and that's a way for you to make money. You never know who might be out there on the street and, might see something. I mean, I have a clothing line also that I have, called Diversified Clothing. And a couple weeks ago, my girlfriend, she was out at the store and somebody seen her Diversified Clothing shirt she had on, and they asked her where she got it. So, I mean, like, that's the thing, like, and it was just a simple gray shirt with black lettering, and somebody walked up and asked her about it. And so, I mean, and that's the thing, like, you never know who you come across. One thing that you will learn in life is you never know who you'll meet from day to day. It could be somebody that could change your life for the rest of your life in a good way. So, um, you know, free advertisement, free marketing is definitely something that, people like to do, so, um, yeah, I mean, that's also one little tip I can give is, don't be scared to, invest back in your business, whether it be money, whether it be products that you can hand out to people, which, I mean, in return, you got to spend money anyways. But, just if you want to grow, you got to be willing to invest back into it also. I see too many people that start businesses and they don't invest back into them and they fail. And then they think it's, well, this was a scam or this, that, and everything else. No, I mean, you gotta, your business is like a child. It really is. Starting it from scratch is when it's just born. And as it grows, it goes into that crawling phase and into walking phase, and then it grows.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's definitely a process.
yeah. So I mean,
But that
it's
doesn't. Nobody likes that. Like nobody likes to be told that. Everybody wants it to be like super fast, super lucrative, and like let it sell itself. And it's like the world doesn't work like that.
but it can lead to that. See, that's the thing. Like, people would rather spend the next 40 years working for a 50-cent raise instead of working the next 5 years that could basically gain them,
Sure.
or that could possibly gain them financial freedom for the rest of their life, or put them in a better situation than what they're in now. Even if, I know some people out there that still work regular 9 to 5 jobs that have side businesses, and their side businesses are actually making them more money than their job is, but they still keep their job, mainly because that side business is basically just money going in the bank. Their 9 to 5 is bill money. So
Right.
they're they've got money covered on both ends. They've got their bill money covered from their job, and their business funds their lifestyle. And but yet they're living, they're happy. I mean, one thing people need to understand is that money isn't everything, but like I was saying earlier, is if you're just in this, and if you're just a business owner, or not, or you want to be an entrepreneur just for the money, you're just shooting yourself in the foot basically, because you're never gonna,
Right.
you're always going to be chasing that no, and you're never going to have enough. As soon as you make 1,000, you're going to make 10,000. As soon as you make 10,000, you're going to make 100,000. There's nothing wrong with that, but if you're only doing it for the money, it's just gonna you're gonna end up burying yourself. You got to have a greater purpose and why you got started doing this. Whether, like I said, what's your why? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? Um, for Are you doing what you want to do? Because in all honesty, and a lot of people don't want to hear this either, and I know from experience, when people get into being an entrepreneur or being a business owner, you're more than likely your first business is going to fail. It really is. It's just like, and unfortunately, it's just the way it works. This would be my one, two, this would be my third business. First one did fail. I made money
Mhm.
from it though, but it did fail, mainly because the company went under. Second one,
Right.
I made money from it too, but it also failed. Now, mind you, one thing I will let people know, and or one thing I'll tell you too, is my first two businesses actually weren't real. legit businesses. I was an affiliate marketer for companies, but both of them went under, um, or changed their names or whatever. But you don't ever hear about them anymore. But yeah,
Right.
the Diverse Designs is actually the first legit business that I've built from scratch. You know, it's the third business since I've been doing this since 2015. This is the third one over the last 5 years. I've had this one for 3 years. So the first two, like I said, they were more affiliate type deals. They weren't really business. Um, but you know, they both those companies went under, which is why I lost what I lost. But I mean, I made money from both of them. So anybody out there who says online marketing or network marketing or MLM is a scam, you just got to be careful about what you're doing. Some of them are, yes, some of them really are, and then there is
Yeah,
a
it's
couple of them out
definitely a
there.
numbers game.
It is a numbers game, but the whole problem is people feeding everybody a bullshit dream, saying, "Oh, if you
Yeah.
sign up now, I can make you $1,000 in a week." More than likely, no, you're not going to. You know, and that's not to deter people from, but it's called a business for a reason. Okay, it's not called guaranteed money. The one thing people need to understand is when you get into a business, you're in charge of yourself. You are in charge of everything when it comes to that business. Okay, you are the shot caller, you are the money
Hmm.
maker, you are the bookkeeper until you're able to hire people to do this. What people fail to understand is this. Okay, you okay are in charge, not somebody else, not your mom, not your dad, not your you don't have a
Hmm.
boss. You are the boss. That's why people fail because they seem to think that, oh, I'm going to get into business for myself and I'm going to make $1 million in a year. Not if you don't put the work in. You got to put the work in to even get to that point. But
And schools don't create mindsets for
no,
entrepreneurs, you know. So it's like
you
if
can.
you're coming from school straight to this, it's like you're gonna fail most likely because it's like you're not preparing yourself, or you haven't been training, or you're not preparing yourself to take on the role of what's to be done because it's there's so
But
much stress.
I
There's
will
so
say
much.
this though. I will say this. If you can make $10 online, you can make $1,000 online. You can make $10,000 online. I mean,
I agree. Yeah, depends
okay.
on what it
So
is
over the last three
or
years,
who it is.
over the last 3 years, and no, this ain't a very large number, but over the last 3 years, I've probably made close to almost 40 grand, which isn't bad. I made
That's by yourself,
20,000. Yeah, yeah, because I made almost 20 grand my first year in business.
and that's without the
This is
schemes. That's without like being like, hey, get rich quick schemes. That's no
no,
like
this is the
selling people
design
pipe
company.
dreams. Yeah, well, I know. That's my point. Is that like you're trying to make an honest living, you know, from humble
Yeah.
beginnings.
Now, but I'm also going to say this, okay? Because a lot of people are probably going to see that and they're going to be like, well, that ain't shit. That's a lot coming from somebody who didn't know nothing about running a business his first year in business. I was about as green could fucking get. I didn't know shit about nothing. I actually learned it as I went. So to turn around and make almost 20 grand my first year in business, not knowing a fucking thing, is pretty damn good. Because I know some people out there that's been in business for 5 years and ain't fucking made that in 1 year. And I did it my first year. So now don't get me wrong, my second year I took it. I went. It actually didn't make as much, but I took a big hit off of a scam job that almost put me under. I took a $7,000 hit.
We'll have to get
Um,
into that. Yeah,
yeah, well,
for another one.
yeah, we can do that at another time. But yeah, I took a $7,000 hit on one job, and it damn near almost put me under. But I
Yeah,
recovered from it. It took me almost 6 months to recover from it, but I finally did, and now, I mean, that was a learning experience.
well, that's definitely something you should share because people didn't.
Well, remember, okay, remember one thing. Remember one thing when I say this to you. No matter what you do, how you do it, how you go about doing it, in your entrepreneurial business owner, brand owner career, you will suffer a downfall of that nature at least once. And I'm not saying that to deter anybody, but I'm telling you it will happen. I've
So
talked to
just be prepared is what you're saying.
be prepared because it's every person that's in business, whether you're online, offline, whatever, if you go and ask them at least one time in their whole entire career of being an owner of something, they've had an issue with a lawsuit, a scam job, getting burned on jobs, not getting paid for them,
Right. Yep.
whatever the case may be. It's going to happen. There's not really much you can do about it. You might, I mean, it's just like, you know, if you're riding a bike, you're going to fall eventually, at least once. You might never not do it. You might not ever do it again, but it's going to happen at least once. Same thing when you get into this, when you become a business owner, you're going to have people that are going to try to screw you over.
Hmm.
Sometimes you're going to pull it off. Sometimes you're going to catch on to it way too fast, fast enough. I didn't catch this one fast enough until it was too late. So,
Right.
I
Sorry.
took the fall for it.
That
Um,
sucks, man.
but it's it's a learning experience. It's something that I learned to look for now. So
Yeah.
when
I bet you could help a lot of people look for that too.
I mean, and it's funny that you say that because actually, not no sooner that I got done dealing with mine, another person that I know actually had something similar happen to him, and he asked me about it because he thought it was too good to be true. He asked me about it, and it was just funny that he was dealing with the same exact thing that I dealt with, that happened to me, almost spot on. So I told him kind of how to handle it and how to go about doing it, and he did it, and he found out, he finally exposed the person. So I basically saved his, quite a bit of money loss, um, because his was actually more than mine. It was what they were after, but you
What
know,
were they after? Can you say?
about 15 grand
Oh God. Wow.
because they were,
Yeah, man. I
well,
don't
what they
even
were
have
doing,
like anything, so that's a lot to me.
well, no, what they were doing is they were laundering money through the account. They
Oh
bought a
wow.
bunch of they bought a bunch of stolen credit cards and they were running them, and they were
Oh
making
nice.
payments. They were making payments to us. Well, they made a they made a payment to me for a
Oh, it
large.
was that one.
Yeah, well, the same thing almost happened to my friend that
Right.
he
I
caught
remember
on
you
to
telling
it.
me
But
that.
yeah, they got, I mean, for about 7 grand after the merchant account caught on to it, and
Jeez.
they contacted me and let me know what happened. Um, I still had to take the fall for it though because we still collected the money, but I had to pay it all back.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a big mess, but like I said, it's red flags now that I know to look for when something like
Yeah.
that happens. But yeah, I mean, that's about what I have.
All right, well, we can jump off, and so we will talk again about what we will plan for the next video. I do need a thumbnail picture. Do you want me just to jump on Facebook and grab one, or do you want to send me a picture?
I mean, you can grab one off of Facebook.
Okay,
Use my cover photo with me and Cam.
that's fine. I will. Yep, and then I'll message you, and we'll work out the title. I'll just call you right after this, and then we'll figure it out together, and then we'll see how this does, and yeah, we will see everybody probably what, few days, maybe a week.
Yeah, this was kind of a crazy, all over the place interview. It was probably more than it was probably one of the different ones you'll have. I mean, so, but yeah, we can do this again, and next time we do this, we can maybe show some people what I do, for a living, graphic design
Yeah,
related, or even if maybe we could share some examples of work that I've done and kind of give a little description about it, and teach people a little bit more about graphic design or logo design. I'm not
Yeah,
going to say graphic design, more
show
logo design.
people your show people your process is totally something that I encourage. So if you're comfortable with that, I would really appreciate that. So that's something
Yeah.
to look forward to for sure. I'm not always sure how to ask for things, so that's really awesome that you suggested that. Thank you, David.
Oh no, no problem, no problem. But yeah, we can. I'm always up for showing people how we do stuff and how we get
Yeah, well,
our. And go ahead.
I'm really looking forward. Yeah, no, sorry, I hate to. I think there's like a lag, because it's like
There
it's
is,
really weird. Because
yeah, there is.
okay,
You're
okay,
you're you're moving really slow, at least on my
okay.
end.
Sorry about that. Yeah, so when we talk about for the next plan, I think the most important thing is that we just have a nice setup for the next video. So then so then people can just kind of go into that next suggested video and it'll all just be episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the works.
Hmm. Yeah, we can do that.
And it'll all be titled, just kind of yeah, kind of just like a show, just like every episode will just have a different title that talks about what that show is about that day. So I'm really excited to see where this goes, man. Thank you so much, and yeah, I'll call you in probably like the next 5 or 10 minutes just to finish up with the thumbnail and get this all loaded up.
All right, cool. Sounds good.
All right, talk to you soon.
All right, man. Later.